DiD do 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 I Welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming. Daniel, you feel lonely? Two guys. Anyway, welcome. I'm so glad everyone's here.
Yeah, believe me, I told him it was like a man and woman here. He's like, let's go with that.
Man and woman, come, perfect. Don't keep me lonely, brother. All right, I'm very happy. There's something happened in Yerushalayim tonight. It's Yerushalayim Karzan.
How you doing?
Shlomo.
Jeffrey, Bart.
Jeffrey. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm so glad you're all here, and we're going to continue learning tonight. Leilui Nishmas Yair. You had it. I had it down. Yair ben Israel Yosef. And Neshama should have an Aliyah. And the continued Refuah Shlema. Yehudit. What was that second name? Those two names that I forgot. Yehudit Bat. Fegi. And also for Alter Baruch ben Sarah. Big Refuah Shlema. And you could add in whoever you'd like to add in. Hopefully you don't have anybody, but if you do, please feel free to add in the name. I'm very, very excited about tonight because sometimes you have to dig deep to try to find something that connects to the parsha, and then sometimes you're so overwhelmed because there's so much in the parsha that you don't know where to start from. So the tzaddikim taught us, our sages taught us, that when you read the parshas in the Torah, if you read about a certain holiday, even though it's not the time of the holiday, but you read about it in the parsha, some of the kedusha, the holiness of that thing you're reading about, appears in your life as well. For instance, on Parshat Beshalach, or Parshat Beshalach, Parshat Bo and Beshalach, what do we read about? We read about Exodus, but we don't read it during Pesach. We read it in January, February. However, the tzaddikim say that when you read about these things, even though it's not in the time that it actually happens on the calendar, somewhat of the kedusha of it appears. For instance, when do we read about the holiday of Shavuot? Not on Shavuot. We read about the holiday of Shavuot in Yitro, right after we read about the holiday of Pesach. Well, if that's the case, this must be one of the holiest weeks in the world. Because in Parshat Emor, the most beautiful thing is, in Parshat Emor itself, we read about Sfirat HaOmer, which is what we're in right now. Which means it's like a double whammy. Not only is it actually happening right now, it's what we're going to be learning about and reading about this Shabbos. But it's not just Parshat Emor that we talk about it's not just Sfirat HaOmer that comes up in the Parsha. We also speak about very intense days of Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, and Sukkot. A lot of the kedusha of the holidays that we read about in the Parsha show up during this week. And if that wasn't enough, we're right around the corner from two of the most holiest days of the year, which is Pesach Sheni and Lag BaOmer. So, where on earth do you start? Where do you end? So, like Rabbi Shlomo said many times, he's going to start from the middle, because that's like the safest place, because you don't know really where you are, where you're not. But I really think that tonight we have a beautiful, beautiful idea, which will tie the month that we're in, the month of Iyar, to the concept of Sfirat HaOmer. Now, in the last few weeks, the Shiurim were really, really intense. And I'm so thankful for everyone's feedback, those of you that are in this room, those of you who are with us on Web Yeshiva, and to those of you who are going to be learning with us online afterwards. And I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to get back to everyone. It's been, Baruch Hashem, a beautifully busy period. But please keep the questions coming. Like last night in Yerushalayim, you were there, Esti. Was anyone else there? No. There's one girl who stayed with her afterwards for so long because she didn't want to just be the nodders. The nodders are like, sure, yeah. I have no idea what you just said, but I'm definitely not going to make you or me feel uncomfortable. So I'm not going to, heaven forbid, say that there's something that wasn't clear. And there were a lot of those questions the last few weeks. Very intense stuff when you learn about Parshat Kedoshim, Acharei Mot Kedoshim. It's very intense energy in the air around Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut. It's very, very special times. Very special times. Tonight it's going to be a little bit more on the lighter side. But I've said that before, and it doesn't end up, that's not what ends up happening, but I'm just saying, that was my kavana at least. So at least, I could say that's what I had in mind, and hopefully that'll be, at least the kavana, it says, Machshava Tova Kadosh Baruch Hu Mitzaref L'Maaseh. When you have a good kavana, God makes that adjacent to an action. So that was the kavana in mind. And I also obviously want to very much dedicate the shiur to, I know it's a very big concept, but mamash to tikkun olam, our hearts are absolutely shredded to pieces as every hour the death toll rises in Nepal. And what's so beautiful about a Yiddish neshama is that regardless if there were Israeli tourists there or not, our hearts bleed when these things happen to anyone in the world. So, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Bezrat Hashem, we should be privileged to witness the fixing, the resurrection. When the earth shakes, it's strong, strong messages. It's not simple things. If everything in life is a message, al achaz kam b'chama, when the earth actually shakes. Anyway, we should really be clear. The channels to understand what God wants of us right now should become clearer and clearer as we're going day by day towards Matan Torah, towards receiving the Torah. So having said all that, and mentioning that Sfirat HaOmer is mamish in the Parsha, I'm going to give out these sheets. I don't think we have enough. Now, for some reason, I thought I did back and forth. Hippies, I apologize. It's 2 pages. It's not back and forth here. But you do the best. So if you could take 2 pages and pass it on. But the truth is, even if you don't have the text, it should be, if you just listen, hopefully that'll be enough.
Me in the classroom today.
Yeah. All right. And these words were said in Nachlaot in May 1987. The Shlomo taught this in May of 1987 in Nachlaot, in Emunah's house. A house that many of us have been. Emunah with. May 1987. Now, there's one more I have here that's back and the front and back. All right? Save the best for last. All right. And I also want to thank my wife for making this house feel so good, look so good, smell so good, and be suitable for Talmidei Chachamim to sit and learn Torah. This is very special what we have tonight. Avi, you hear anything? Look at this. Shlomo says like this, open your hearts. What's so special about the coming of Mashiach? So look, these words are so precious. Everyone dreams about things before they happen. But once they happen, do you still dream about it? So it says when Mashiach is coming, Hayinu kecholmim, meaning once he's already here, Hayinu kecholmim. It's the one time we see that we'll still be dreaming about something while it already took place. Like the Messianic era is all about being able to still dream about something even though it already took place. Now, that's a very, very deep concept, and that's what we're gonna get into a lot tonight. I'm dreaming about Mashiach my whole life. But once Mashiach comes, we'll still dream about Mashiach's coming. What does this mean? How do you dream for something once you already have it? Now, this is $1 million question. This is already, we can now jump into so many different areas in our lives and be brutally honest by asking ourselves, how much do we not just value something once we have it, but how much am I dreaming about it once I have it? For instance, the easiest thing in the world would be, what's the easiest parallel I could... Even, well, one step before. Marriage, obviously. Let's even go one step before that. What else?
Living in Israel.
Oh, so that's a very, very big one that I wanted to leave for the end of.
Sorry. Married to a tour guide.
You're married to a tour guide.
They're really envious.
Yeah.
The people who see Israel for the first time, those eyes.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Last week I was Yom Ha'atzmaut morning. I did Hallel with the Chevra from Nefesh B'Nefesh. Davening Hallel with hundreds of people that are here for the first time and celebrating Independence Day in Israel. Yeah, it's an amazing thing. But you know what? It's good. Daniela just goes straight to the Enshliot. No, it's good. It's all from Shemayim. It's good. You ever been to those shiurim where the guy says a guy has a whole thing planned for 45 minutes, right? And he's worked on it for months. A shiur, shlav by shlav by shlav. And he thinks he's such a chacham. You know, one little bishop comes and says what the guy's trying to say after 45 minutes, and he just mumbles. The rest of the shiur has nothing to say. I hope it's not the case over here right now. But Reb Shlomo ties this in at the end, but I was going to bring that up even also over here as really the highest dargah, and maybe what we're really busy with the most, because kimat all of us in this room are olim. We've been olim, we've come to Eretz Israel. We have been olim. I've been an oleh since 1989, but some of us are maybe even a little bit in the midst of making aliyah. Whatever it is, How do you keep on dreaming for something once you have it? And what happens to you? Why do you stop dreaming about something once that dream came true? Now with marriage, it's a very delicate issue. Because what we're not trying to do is say, I'm supposed to dream about my husband, my wife, exactly the way that I dreamt about them before I had them. Obviously you can't. But there is an aspect of longing to be with them that should have never left. Like Rabbi Shlomo once said, you could always tell when you walk into a room, when couples walk in, let's say it's not exactly a frummer world, but let's say it's like a different, like somewhere in the world, doesn't matter, Jewish, non-Jewish. You could see who's mamish married and who's not. Those who are married usually probably won't walk in holding hands like being giddy. Those who are dating or about to get married are the ones that will be coming in just, acting very, have a foolish smirk on their face and whatever. But where does it come from, this inyan of once the marriage kicks in, that's it? Like, why do my dreams either change so fast or cease to exist? Okay, so that's with marriage. And that's a hard one.
Why do you say that?
That doesn't happen.
I don't agree with you.
I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm not even saying that I said that. I said Reb Shlomo said that. But wait 1 second. How come with children it's a little bit less of that energy?
Because they're always changing.
Because there's always growth. Very good, exactly. Because, it doesn't matter at what age, you're always growing with them, kenegdam. There's always a growth taking place. Now with Eretz Israel, which is really what we're trying to talk about tonight, that's like already a very, very big question. What is it in us? What changes in us? That once we came here, it's like the dreams, for some people, the dreams stop taking place. Something else happens with them. My friend Jeremy Gimpel once wanted to make a huge rally called, not an Aliyah rally, but a keeping on making our Aliyah rally. For all the Olim that are here, that have been here for a while. It's an amazing thing. Like Yidden used to fight, like my mother tells me, the rallies in the 60s and 70s for Soviet Jewry. Like when they speak about those days, we don't have anything like that today. On a passion level, fighting for other Yidden. Those days don't exist. That passion, dreaming for another Jew's freedom, for some reason, doesn't exist because, so to speak, we're in a different world now. Most world Jewry is under the illusion that they're in a free world and that they have freedom. When did dreams change and why do they change? And why do we give up on dreams so fast once it seems to us that they actually took place? Rabbi Shlomo said in many different places that the saddest thing in the world is that when a couple get married, they stop getting married. Does that make sense? Yofi. I'm sure you speak in the name of others in the room as well. It's good. When they get married, at that moment, they stop getting married and now they're just together. Why? Because the act of getting married, of an action level coming together, is not a one-time process. It is supposed to keep on happening all the time, that I bring two and I bring it into one. That's why in the morning, what's the act of engagement called in Hebrew? Erusin. And in the morning, when I put on tefillin, I say, Ve'erastichli le'olam. I say, Ribbon Shleim, I want to be engaged to you forever. Why? Because the engagement has that excitement element, So I say, Ribbon Shleim, please, I'm begging you. I want to be engaged to you forever. I never want this to be taken for granted. I never want this to be a given. Never, ever, ever, ever. I always want to dream about what it's about to be like. That's engagement. Engagement is, I'm always dreaming about what is about to happen. And we stop dreaming about what's about to happen at a certain point in our lives. Whether it's marriage, whether it's friendships, whether it's careers, and whether it's really big life decisions like coming and moving here to Eretz Israel. Now let's go forward. I want you, The problem is that the cousins are mamish giving it all they have right now. So it might be a little bit distracting. I want you to know, the difference between Rachel and Leah is very simple. Leah doesn't have much to do with dreams. Yaakov never dreamt of Leah. He never thought he'd marry her, but he dreamt about Rachel before he met her. And Gewalt, did he dream about her after. Rachel was always just a dream. Even while she was married, she was dreaming of having babies. And by the way, even while the Midrash says, while she was giving birth to Yosef, she was already dreaming about having another child as well. And Reb Shlomo says she kind of never wanted to leave her status of living in a dream. And that's why she dies while she's giving birth to Benjamin. Something about her is always kind of living in a dream. She's the mother of Yosef HaTzadik, who is always dealing with dreams. So we see about Rachel Imeinu, she's very connected to Olam HaChalomot. And by the way, when does Yaakov meet her? Yaakov meets her right after he has his dream. So she's really connected to dreams on many different levels. So now look what happens here. Now, and by the way, this is a classic Reb Shlomo Carlebach piece, where he's going to be taking peace. You think, what is he talking about? He just spoke about something else. Now he's jumping to something else. Now you'll see he's mamash going, and he's putting up all these pieces on the board, and then he's going to call in all the soldiers. You'll see it so beautifully, and gather everyone inside. Just have patience with it. Now, when we came out of Egypt, you know what we needed the most? We needed the most that we should still dream about Pesach. Okay, what does he mean over here, that we should still dream about Pesach once we left Egypt? So, there were dreams going on for 210 years. Slaves, dreaming. One day it would happen. And those dreams kept them so alive, somehow, in such horrible, horrific circumstances. Their dreamings created their inner beings. It refined who they were. Those dreams of one day something happening were literally creating such immense beauty in them. What's the saddest thing in the world is that once your dream comes true, you're detached from what the dream used to do to you. How the dream used to carve something into you. Because while I'm dreaming it, it's making me, it's creating me. It's making me into something. So look again, Reb Shlomo says, what did we need the most when we came out of Egypt? We needed the most that we should still dream about Pesach, like we dreamt for 210 years, that one day God will redeem us. The most heartbreaking thing in the world is when you're dreaming about freedom, and suddenly you have it, and that's it. It's over. By the way, what's the best example for this? As a people, we've said this before in here. When the black man got freedom in the USA, United States of America, it created a tremendous amount of chaos. How many, hundreds of thousands, they weren't able to deal with they had no idea what to do with their freedom. Sorry?
No.
Yeah, we had no idea. They had no idea what to do with it. Because they stopped dreaming about it. Because they couldn't believe it happened. You see, the saddest thing in the world is not when I don't get what I want. It's when I get what my heart wanted for so long, but this wanting what I got stops doing what it used to do to me. Can anyone think about this in your own life? Was that a very, very hard sentence? Yeah? So let's just do it again and think about it in your own life. You see, the saddest thing in the world is not when I don't get what I want. It's when I get what my heart has wanted for so long, but this wanting what I got, meaning the desire, what it created in me, the desire for what I got, stops doing what it used to do to me. I'll give you an example. Let's say someone's going, and the search for their chassan, has created within them, formed a beautiful relationship with the Ribbono Shel Olam, with the Master of the world. That someone's looking for their bride, their groom for so long. And during this search, they realize that they're forced somehow to dig really, really deep inside and begin a dialogue with God, a serious hitbodedut session on a daily basis. And through that hitbodedut session, while they're searching for their loved ones, they're realizing a lot of beautiful things about them and about the journey and about the distance. It's beautiful. Now what happens once they've found their zivug, Baruch Hashem? Because we're not saying a person should always live in a state of not having what they want. No, you should get what you want. But what happens to many people once they found their zivug? Those hitbodedut sessions cease to exist. I don't need it now. I got what I wanted. But you forgot who you were becoming while you were looking for what you wanted. The best, and now we could really tie it into Eretz Israel. Oh boy, how I stayed up day and night while I was living in, I don't know, Buffalo or in New Hampshire or Texas, or I was in San Diego and I was dreaming about the Holy Land day and night. And I realized so many things about myself by longing to be connected to such a holy place. And the years and the anticipation of coming, it made me into who I am today, right? And then I came here. And now what? I did it. So now what? What happens now? So the saddest thing in the world is when I stop missing Yerushalayim, because I'm already here. And I know this is a hard concept to understand, but you have to put things into proportion. Again, when I long for something, it changes me. It carves something into me. When I'm on a search, when I'm on this holy scavenger hunt, the search is doing something to me, whether I realize it or not. It forms who I am. It pushes me to look really deep into myself. But that search should be everlasting. You should always strive to be deeper, get to know yourself better, understand what you want, why you want what you want. But sometimes when I get what I want, what happens to me when I get what I want?
The longing can stop.
Easily. Do you know how many friends I have that they made it here to Eretz Israel, and on a spiritual level it was one of the worst things that ever happened to them? Now, if I said this in Chutz La'aretz, and you heard me say this living in Chutz La'aretz, you'd call me a kofir, right? Because how could you say that in Chutz, talk about Jews in Eretz Israel like that? But let's be real. There's something there. There's something there. Okay, let's go further. Now, Gewalt is this a month. Oh, sorry. We're not there yet. This friend, we're in the third paragraph, third line from the bottom. This is the reason that God didn't take me to Mount Sinai right away. Why? Because what would have happened if I would have gone out of Egypt straight to receive the Torah? You know what wouldn't mean anything to me? The Torah. The Torah wouldn't mean anything to me. The Torah would be an amazing thing. I'd be high. I'd be tripping my face off all day for 25 hours, right? One holiday. And after that, the buzz would be horrific. I'd be done. The down would be so horrendous, and it wouldn't mean anything to me. And this is why Ribbono Shel Olam said, not right away. Not just that. It's also the reason why God said, and not right away to Eretz Israel either. Take about 40 years. When I count Sfira, I say, Ribbono Shel Olam, today is already so and so many days that I have left Egypt, and I'm still dreaming about freedom. This, Reb Shlomo says, is the kavana of Sfirat HaOmer. That when I'm counting Sfira, I say to Ribbono Shel Olam, what's the first thing I do after I count Sfira? I say, please, Ribbono Shel Olam, bring me to Beis HaMikdash. But what I'm telling you is, tonight is, did everyone count already? You did, I did, so I could say, tonight's 24 days, right? Tonight's 24 days that I've been out of Egypt, that I'm not a slave anymore, and that I'm free, but boy, am I still dreaming about what it means to be free. How it's still, that anticipation, that dreaming about it has not left me. I'm still an excited little kid, even though my dream was, so to speak, granted on a certain level. Now let's move further. Now Gewalt is this a month. The name of the month is Iyar. The Iyar is Rashi Tevot, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Rachel. Okay, I want you to know, Chaver, this is a personal confession right now. Okay, again, Iyar is Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. So what does that mean? Well, I want to share with you that many years ago, when I saw this Rashi Tevot for the first time, I felt it was so lame. Why was it lame? I said, wow, if the name of the month was just Aleph Yud Yud, that'd be Gewalt. I could say, wow, this month is Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. But because it ends with Iyar, thank God, one of the mothers starts with an R, with a Resh, so let's just knock her in there too and say, Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Rachel. But the Bnei Yisachar, the Baalei Kabbalah bring this down, that the Rashi Tevot for this month of Iyar is Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. It's not Stam, that we just threw in her Rachel, because her name happens to begin with a Resh. And that's why we started what we started with already right now. What does Rachel represent for us? What's she all about? What did we learn already right now? Dreams. She's about chalamot. She's about dreaming. So now Rabbi Shlomo is going to piece something together beautifully. So here, after Pesach begins. After Pesach begins what Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov were hoping for. As they were always praying to God, let there be one nation, one free people who can serve you. This is Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, like he's saying, all the dreams that Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov ever had were beginning to take place. Knesset Israel, mamish, a real function of Am Yisrael, a group of Am Yisrael, a gathering. But you know what they were missing? Do you know what they needed most? To continue dreaming about it, about becoming a people. Because if I'm not dreaming about it, the whole thing is over. This is where Rachel comes in. So what do you have? This month of Iyar, Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. You have the three fathers who dreamed for us to become a people. We became a people. And then you had the dreamer, the mother of the dreamer, Rachel, the mother of Yosef, who kept on dreaming. And she represents the need to constantly dream. Always, never, ever stop dreaming in your life. Why? Because the Rabbi Shlomo said a very important line here. The moment you stop dreaming about something, it's over. What happens when you stop dreaming about something? You accept things the way they are. Now some people will tell you that's the healthiest thing in the world. Because acceptance of who you are, your limitations, v'chulei, that's a beautiful thing to come to. I accept. What's that famous line? God, give me the
serenity, yeah.
What's the word? To accept the things
that cannot change. God, give me the
right.
Yeah.
Okay, it's honestly one of the very anti-Yiddish things I ever heard in my life. That's not a Yiddish concept. We don't accept. If someone's mom is sick, right? You say, okay, God, let me just accept the fact that they're suffering and nothing I can do to change it. Or even things that seem against nature. We don't. We're made out of something else. When I accept things the way they are and I stop dreaming about a more beautiful tomorrow, or about all the things that seem to be impossible, at the moment that I stop dreaming about it, it's done. I'll give you an example. Approximately 16 years ago, I was in a gathering in Los Angeles. I was still living in LA. And I was in a gathering of friends of mine a few nights after Tisha B'Av. It must have been like maybe it was even Thu B'Av, the 15th of Av. And we're in Los Angeles in one of our friends' apartments. And guitars are out. We're having a seudah. I was my friend Ruthie's house. And a close friend of ours, Rabbi Yisrael Rabinowitz, he was there. And he stops in the middle of singing Yibane Hamikdash, and he says, oh my God, I just realized something. I realized how real the concept of dreaming to come back to Eretz Israel is. He said, what do you mean? He said, well, because we never stopped dreaming about it. We've made it more and more real. Because if we would have stopped dreaming to come back to Eretz Israel, at that point, you know what would happen? We wouldn't. At that point, my connection to that which I'm dreaming for ends. Okay? It ends at that point. All right, let's continue. On Shavuot now, look what he says here. Now, I just want to say something. How many people in this room are from birth? With that concept, what's it called? FFBWL? With WB with brakes, whatever, you know what I mean. Right? FFBW, is that what it is? FFBWB?
I'm just an FFB.
With brake, huh?
From parents, maybe call it.
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever you want to call it. I've heard a lot of different. What's that?
Aren't there other people raising their hands?
Yeah, there are. No. I'm. You know. I don't know. Huh?
Yeah, I know your father.
Yeah. No, meaning. Okay. So he's going to touch upon something very, very delicate, which I always think about, and I could never have the guts to say this to people who are convinced that they're the luckiest in the world because they raised from. For instance, I always say, thank God I was not raised Lubavitch. You know why? In the deepest depths? Because I do not think that I would have such a burning desire to be connected to the Alter Rebbe if I was brought up in it. I don't think, I can't imagine it. I can't imagine I'd have such a hunger to want to breathe the energy of the Rebbe if I was, that's me. If I was raised in it, I don't think I could. Okay, that's me. Some people could. I have friends born and bred in Lubavitch, and they're mamish fire soldiers of the Rebbe forever. But about myself, I say, mamish, thank God for myself that I wasn't raised like that, because I don't think that I'd be able to just keep that fire. You know, I get that fire, it's spoon-fed, and that's who I am the rest of my life. Now look what he says here. Look inside. On Shavuos, we read about Ruth, who comes to Boaz at night. How come? Like, why do we read about Ruth during Shavuot? So there's many reasons, right? But look what he says here. When I'm born a Jew, I'm, so to speak, missing out on something utmost important. Who teaches me how to dream about being a Jew? For that, I need a convert. I need somebody who was dreaming about becoming a Jew. And before I read about the receiving of the Torah, I learn about another convert, Yisro, right? His name, like that's a famous teaching, that his name, why is his name the name of the parsha where we receive the Torah? Because of this concept of that to receive the Torah, you have to constantly be dreaming about receiving the Torah, like Yisro did. Yisro always dreamed that the emptiness inside of him would one day be fulfilled and healed. He went everywhere and tasted from everything, but never gave up on it. Right? Yitro, what do we know about him? He checked it all out. He was mamish, what would you say, an Oved Avodah Zarah from birth, right? Every single type of foreign idol worship, that was his thing, everything. But what was it? He never stopped dreaming about one day there's going to be a real connection that I have with God. The Ishbitzer says, that's a person that's going to get the name of Matan Torah, and the parsha named after him. Now, us from birth Yidden, how much do we have that? How much do we have that excitement and dreaming about one day like a convert? You know, I've seen this. I remember in Los Angeles there were a few years that I had very, very weird Sundays. I think I shared this with you once. Very bizarre Sundays. I was a kid. I was 18, 19, and the Rav there, the head of the Beis Din, I was very close to him, and I was privileged to learn under him. And on Sundays he said, "Okay, let's do shimush." What's shimush? Means shimush comes from l'shamesh, meaning let's now start doing tachlis things that we're learning about. Let's see how they actually come in life. What were we learning? We were learning Gittin and Gerus, I think. We were learning about divorces and conversions, right? So every Sunday, for I don't know how long it was, but I needed a lot of help after it, till my father said, you can't do this anymore. I was going and sitting on beis dins of divorces. It was awful. It was awful. I hated it. Can you imagine you're 18 years old living in LA? You're playing shows, you're having fun with friends, you're going to the Lakers, you're doing all these crazy things, but that's that one thing, Sunday, 11 a.m., show up at the rabbi's office for a get. And especially they used me a lot as a kohen. I was used as a shliach, to be a shliach get. Why? Because there's a halacha that says that if you, a person who's appointed as a shliach to go and divorce someone, cannot marry the person that he's divorcing. It's a halacha. Right? So, obviously a kohen who is not allowed to marry a grusha would be a perfect person to fit that job. Oh, even better. So I was used for that too. And I was used for witnessing conversions of not babies, but older people as well, men and women. It was a very weird, a few years. It was, the more I think about it, what the heck was I thinking? I can't believe it. My mom just can't believe I was doing it. I don't know what. Thank God my father said, he's like, okay, ad kanach. You're done with this. Do shimush later, and this stuff is done with you. But the point is like this. The few converts that I got to meet, their excitement to be close to Hashem put me to shame. Put all of it, I can't speak about you. It put me to the shame for the rest of my life. Their excitement to take upon themselves Torah and mitzvahs, all my years in this world being excited for a mitzvah can't come close to that. I remember seeing them get excited to become a yid. And that's why I need to learn about Ruth on Shavuot night when I received the Torah. And that's why the parsha of receiving the Torah is named after Yitro. I need that element in my life. I need to be reminded that that's what it's really all about. And one day, it will be like that. When? As hayinu kecholmim. When Mashiach comes, I will somehow be able to what? Be dreaming about Mashiach while Mashiach's here. Meaning I'll be such a holy Jew that wants to be a Jew so badly, but born a Yid. It's like I'll open the window now. I think their martyr finished. It's like such an amazing thing. That somehow I have the ability, when Mashiach comes, that's what's going to be about. That once you get that which you longed for so much, it won't stop. That couples that long to get married, their dreams only get more and more intense as they're married. Can you imagine a marriage that doesn't suffer from hityashnut, which means
getting old.
Stale. Can you imagine that?
Does he give us tips here?
Yeah, you don't need any tips. You could teach us. You and your tour guide. Okay. I want you to know something so special. He does give tips, by the way, in a second. Who is curable and who is incurable? Once you stop dreaming about being healed, that's the end. You're incurable. As long as a person still dreams about being cured, there's hope. Now, during the month of Iyar, I keep my dreams alive every night of the month through Sfira. You know, Iyar, amongst all the holy dates that are in it, we always say about Iyar is a very special month that it is fully consumed with the mitzvah of Sfirat HaOmer. Nisan is only partially filled, only from half of it is Sfirat HaOmer. And in Sivan, only the first 5 nights are recounting Sfirat HaOmer. Right? But Iyar, the whole month, is like in a pool of Sfirat HaOmer. It's in this pool of, like we said before, coming to God and saying, Ribbono Shel Olam, today is so and so many days that I'm free and I'm still dreaming about what it's all about. This is what makes this month so beautiful. It's really mamish. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, one day will be free. and Rachel. And I'm free and I'm still dreaming about what it means to be free in this world. Therefore, ER also stands for Ani Hashem Rofecha, right? Aleph, Yud and Yud is God's name, and ER. Ani Hashem Rofecha. God is our healer. The healing comes through the energy of Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel. So again, two things ER stands for. Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and Rachel, which basically, when these two elements, what those three fathers and Rachel provide for me, is a sincere, genuine, deep healing. The real healing takes place when I refuse to ever accept the fact that I won't be healed, that I keep on dreaming that my heart will be healed one day, no matter what. And all of us are broken. It's not a bad thing. It's actually a really beautiful thing. All of us are broken. All of us Bezrat Hashem, need to continue dreaming to be cured and be healed. Please, God. So here I want to go one step further, Reb Shlomo says. And by the way, you all know this, that every single month is divided to many different things that the month is all about. One of it is that there's a tribe, just like there's 12 months, 12 tribes, there's a tribe that's shaykh to each month. There's a body part, there's an organ that's attributed to each month that I'm working on its healing. There's a conscious avodah, a work that I'm doing, that I'm connected to each month. And obviously there's a constellation that I'm also connected to each month. So in the month of Iyar, what am I working on according to the Arizal? What aspect of life is chosen? Oh, and each month has its own letter. So there's a lot of things. You want something else? Yeah. There's a lot of things. There's even more than what I just said. By the way, what's the letter of the month of Iyar? Vav. Just putting it out there. What's the tribe of Iyar? Does anyone know? I think it's Yisachar, right? Yisachar is the tribe. What's the organ? Does anyone know? I forgot. Anyway, but what we're working on an actual avodah, what's that?
It's like the mind. It's like the mind, body, and heart. It's
everything.
It's
the whole deal.
Being connected.
It's vav. It's that letter that connects heaven down to earth directly into me. But this is a beautiful thing. The Arizal says there's something that I'm consciously have to work on during each month. What am I working on? Look what he says here. The Arizal says that what I'm working on in Chodesh Iyar is hirhur. And the Gemara says that dreams have to do with hirhura deyoma. Okay, what's hirhur, by the way? Leharher. Contemplation. What's machshava? A thought. What's the difference between a thought and contemplation? We'll see right now. Huh? Depth and even more than that. We'll see right now. Reb Tzadok HaKohen says something unbelievable. That which I think with my head is called machshava. What I think with my heart is called hirhur. Hirhur halev. Now, since when do we think with our heart? What is he talking about? Who thinks with their heart? How does the heart think? I thought my brain thinks. What does it mean to think with your heart? What do you guys think it means? Anyone?
To feel what you're doing.
To feel what you're doing? That's a feeling.
No, but your heart leads you in a direction. It pulls you.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a thought and there's right and wrong, the heart can clarify the thought.
It's funny. We kind of say the otherwise. We say We say the heart should not be what in Lubavitch, the whole thing is moyach shalit alalev, that the mind should actually figure out a way how it...
That's right, but the heart pulls you.
The heart's the pulse. Your heart beats, your brain doesn't beat. Anyone have any other thoughts on what does it mean that your heart is thinking?
Your logic versus emotion? Like what you know with your mind and what you find.
So that's called da'at halev, binat halev, the wisdom of the heart. Mm-hmm. So how do I activate the wisdom of the heart as opposed to the wisdom of the mind?
Let go of the ego.
Yeah. mean, that's an easy thing to say, but Daniela's going to ask you, can you tell me right now how to do that? You know, and we're all going to ask you also right now, can you, okay, great, so let go of the ego. Okay, so now what? Now you feel like me, right? Okay, so we're going to continue, but it's good what you're saying over there. The logic versus emotion, and it is connected to what Zelda's saying, but there's a thought that comes when I'm able to take logic and put it up against emotion and see, okay, where am I? Who's thinking here? What cup, what head am I using over here? Am I the head of my heart or the head of my brain? So look what he says here. The thoughts of my head change every split second. Right? Like, for instance, in the last 2 minutes, how many different thoughts did you guys have? Don't be embarrassed. I myself, while I'm talking to you, sometimes have a million different thoughts. It's just the way we are. To be able to tame our thoughts and be focused and connected is a tremendous, tremendous thing. So like we've been learning in Yerushalayim that Reb Nachman says, man can't have 2 thoughts at the same time. But he could have 5,000 thoughts in a moment. Because it just keeps on changing all the time, right? So I can't have it at the same time, but a moment or a few minutes, I could have, I could have 5 million thoughts, right? So Rabbi Shlomo says, when it comes to the mind thinking, I can have, my mind can change every split second. The thought of my heart could be one thought lasting all day. Like this, like the desire of the heart could be the same thing, not just all day. Some tzaddikim say a person could go through this whole lifetime with achas sha'alti, with one true desire that they want their whole life. If you ask them, the hard hearts, what do you want? It never changes. It's one thing. And it's not as big as letting go of the ego. It could be even more specific. But when it comes to the hirhur hamoach, the machshavot of the moach, it keeps on changing all the time. All the time. Now,
and why would you say that leads you? You would think that if you're having one thought or one emotion your whole life versus a million thoughts,
Because it'll hold you back.
the emotion
no, it's a good question, but
stable, is more.
Not necessarily.
But
In fact, sometimes it's exactly the opposite. The emotion could be the least stable thing in me.
Even though it's something that's so much more powerful than.
All the more so. Because it's it's good what you're saying, but I'm using it against you. All the more so, because it's so powerful, because it's so steady, because it's so constant, I could be completely under the assumption that this is right. And we don't have to go into details right now about, how to, examples of what this is right now, what we're talking about. But you kidding? A person could be under the assumption based on on his emotional hirhur that, look at the greatest travesties of the world. Some of them have come from that, what we think is hirhur halev. It's not a moach. A person's mind, his heart is set for a million years that Allah, what an abuse of the name of God. It's amazing, huh? That Allah, on a heart level, right? His mind keeps on going back and forth, but his heart is certain that this is what needs to take place. Complete demolition and destruction. That's a heart thing. That's an emotional thought that is so steady. So that's why we say, okay, so we have to figure out that balance of how do you know what to listen to and what to ignore. But Reb Shlomo is saying every person has a hirhur halev. But what does this have to do with what we're learning about right now? Because he's not just going to say something that has something to do with what we learned, right? So look back inside the text now. The thoughts of my head change every split second, but the thought of my heart will be one thought lasting all day. So, the Gemara says that which you think about in your heart, your hirhur, is what you dream about at night. Dreams are not so much connected to what? To the thoughts of the head that keep on changing all day long. Your dreams, both the dreams you have at night and certain dreams about life, are much more connected to the thoughts of your heart. That's what the Gemara says. Are you all trying to remember what you dreamt last night? I was earlier. When I was learning this earlier, I was like, wait a second. I would tell you guys that for a long time, now it's easier to do it with iPhones, but I remember I had a little tiny recording device, and I placed it next to my bed. I was a teenager, And what I would do is, I would catch, when I wake up in the morning, even before Modeh Ani, I would catch my dreams into the, I put, not dream catchers, like, we had a lot of those in LA. I mean an actual tape recorder where I put my dreams into the tape recorder for a while. I have to find those tapes. I don't know where they are, but now, I better find them. I don't know what's on those things, but now it's so easy with our smartphones. You could just, we all have recording devices on us. It's practically in our ears while we're sleeping, by some of us too. So we could just wake up and start talking, and it's right there. It's caught. However, I guess what he's saying is, if you want to know what's in your heart, look at your dreams now. This gets scary, huh?
I just said that could be scary.
This is scary, and I'll tell you why. Because of, remind me your name? Chaya, right? It's because of what you said. You said something amazing. You said that those are more powerful, right? That could be more powerful because that could guide us, right? Now the thing is that we could get completely confused by that which we think is the emes, but it's absolutely not. Our dreams, just because this is what I'm thinking in my heart, that doesn't mean that that's a healthy place to be. That's why I have to be very careful. I have to be very careful about how I view these things. Reb Shlomo is just making a statement and saying, the thoughts of your heart is what you're dreaming about. Therefore, you better purify your heart. V'taher libenu le'ovdecha be'emet. I better purify my heart. Why? Because that's what I'm going to end up dreaming about in this world. Do you know how many people live their lives with such awful dreams? They dream. They don't stop dreaming. But their dreams are chalashes. They're horrific. Their dreams are destructive. Therefore, it's good what you said, Rebecca. It's a scary thing that, oh my God, you mean my dreams tell me what I'm really thinking about in my heart? Well, yeah, that doesn't mean that's who you should be. It's just a good wake-up call to see, what do you want to be? What do you want to dream about? Do you want to dream about different things in life? Do you want your dreams to change? When I see a person that's mamish pious and that has worked on their heart their whole life, my dreams change. My dreams get altered a little bit, letovah, for good. They change, they become holier, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing to have reminders every so often in life to be around someone that you see what they're dreaming about, and your natural desire is, God, I want to dream like that. I want to dream more in that direction. I just want my dreams to be deeper and bigger. Okay, back inside. And here I want you to know something so deep. When you dream something, you don't want anyone to wake you up. You're in the middle, right? Unless, like we know, there are dreams that we try to wake ourselves up out of it. But he's talking here about the holy dreams, about the dreams that we, az yamal eschok pinu, hayinu kechomim kind of dreams. You don't talk while you're dreaming. When a chassan, sorry about that typo, when a chassan covers his kala's face, he's basically saying, I'm begging you and me, let's dream about this forever. This is a classic Reb Shlomo Torah on chuppah. He's saying, badekin is like, okay, laila tov. It's like on a certain level saying lights out. Like right now, we're going into La La Land, we're going into dreamland. And right now I don't want anyone to bother us, talk to us, nothing. He says, I'm begging you and me, let's dream about this forever. Don't ever interrupt your dreams. Don't let anyone interrupt your dreams. When children are born, they keep their eyes closed because they, so to speak, don't want to wake up. They're here, but still connected to the world of dreams. The same happens with the Shabbos candles. Now he's going to take this deep concept and explain to us what you women do every Friday. Everyone knows that when our holy sisters bench licht, when they light candles on Friday night, they bless the candles Friday night, they kindle the light, and then cover their eyes. So the question is, now that you kindle the light, you close your eyes? Why don't you look at it now? Simple. I want to dream about it. It's in front of me, but I also want to keep on dreaming about it. This is what bliss is. Oneg Shabbos means that I'm dreaming of Shabbos while it's Shabbos. Simcha doesn't mean I'm dreaming about it. Like being happy, I'm not dreaming about it. I'm just so glad I have it. Oneg Shabbos, the bliss of Shabbos, is when I'm dreaming about something I already have. Have you ever caught yourself dreaming about your children that you have? Have you ever been able to dream about your spouse while you're with your spouse? Okay, I'm going to share with you something right now that I didn't put into the text because I haven't found the right Kavadik way to put this across. But mamish, it should be an Efrat Israel right now. I want you to hear this with utmost kedusha, okay? Say that we could do it right now because definitely majority of women in here tonight, so the level of kedusha is much higher. According to the Shulchan Aruch, man and woman are supposed to be together in the dark. It's according to Shulchan Aruch. Why? So there are many halachic reasons and explanations for this. But Rabbi Shlomo says one of the deepest inyanim reasons for this is because man and woman, the ultimate is to be with one another, but still feel like you're dreaming. Like it's it's so amazing to be one with another person, but it's mamesh hayinu kechomim. It's like Mashiach. It's the closest thing to being alive while dreaming. That's the deepest secrets, Kabbalistic secrets we're talking about. That's what we know. Like we always say, l'shem yichud kucha brichu shchinte. We're always talking about yichudim, unifications, becoming one. Mamish oneness in this world is what he's talking about throughout this whole thing. But that really much connects to like oneg. Pleasure is, real bliss is, that while I have something, I'm mamish still in a dream about it. Alright? So Shabbos could be like that. Shabbos is like that. You know, sometimes I'm telling you, there are moments in art with our chavra on Friday nights especially. But sometimes it happens even Shabbos day in our shul. That someone's davening, it doesn't matter who it is. There's so much sweetness and oneness, especially you see kids coming and dancing with us. And it's like, of course there's simcha, because you're so happy this exists. But there's also bliss because you're still dreaming about it while it's actually happening. Because on a certain level, you can't really believe that it's taking place. Well, that's the ultimate between husband and wife. That's the peak. That's mamish, the peak of all peaks. Okay, now back inside. So now, Daniela, perfect. Now we're wrapping up, connecting to how you started. Now, I want you to know something so deep. Sadly enough, do you know why we went into exile? We went into exile because we stopped dreaming. Sorry about that typo. That next word shouldn't be there. We stopped dreaming about the Beis HaMikdash. There was no other way of making us dream about it again. Okay, so you understand what he said? We had the Beis HaMikdash, and it was like a marriage that it was there. I'm thankful. It's holy. It's even holy. It's holy marriage. Baruch Hashem, we respect each other. But the dreaming that this is just getting deeper and holier stopped taking place. So Reb Shlomo says there was no other. What's our purpose in this world is to be able to learn how to dream again. There was no other way, Reb Shlomo says, to cause us Yidden to dream again about being close to God than actually removing that which I'm supposed to dream about again. And that's why he went into Galut, into Galus. You know what's so special about today? Now he's talking about right now. And this is why I thought this shiur was so relevant, mainly for this last paragraph. You know what's so special about today? Why doesn't God give us back Yerushalayim? But mamish, the whole thing. Right now, let me ask you, Chavra. Let's just be very brutally honest and real. Are we back in Israel? Yes. Right? We're back in Eretz Israel. How much percentage of Am Yisrael is back in Eretz Israel? What is it? I don't know what the percentage is of world Jewry. Half of Am Yisrael? More? Under 50%? Be'erech.
We're equivalent of what it is.
Yeah? How many Jews are in Israel? 6 million Jews? Mash kazeh? There's 13 million Jews in the world? Mash kazeh? 12 and that? Whatever. So, it was an amazing thing. Okay, so we've been coming back. Are we mamish back in Eretz Israel yet? Absolutely not. On a certain level, not in the least. All you have to do is look at one videotape of a Jew attempting to pray to his mass, to God, in Harabait. And that's your answer. That's your answer. Nothing to do with politics. It has to do with a mitziyut, a reality that we're living in. So look what he says here. What's so special about today? Why doesn't God give us back Yerushalayim, but mamish the whole thing right now? Meaning, how could it be that we came back in 1948 and we're having so much trouble with this country since we came back here? How could it be? How many years now? 67 years, right? How could it be that we're having so much trouble with something we dreamed about for so long? Didn't we dream for so many years to come back home? Wasn't the dreaming refined enough? What happened? Obviously, Reb Shlomo says, we haven't dreamt enough about it yet. We have it. We're slowly coming home, but are still given the schus, we're still given the privilege to dream about it. Like those of us that are here right now are given an incredible privilege. And the privilege means that I could experience something which will make me not shocked when Mashiach comes. When Mashiach comes, I'm going to be shocked as to what? Oh my God, I'm still dreaming about it and it already happened. We could do that right now while we're already back here in Eretz Israel. Now the truth is we could do that in every marriage. We could do it with every relationship. We could do that aspect of I'm going to dream about it while I have it with every child, with everything in our lives. We could. It's hard. Very hard. It's very, very difficult. But with Eretz Israel, I feel that we have more opportunity. It's more possible than ever. That we're here, we're back here, but we could still dream about the fact that we're back here. Like you and I are living dreams. Maybe not our own dreams, our parents, our grandparents, for sure our grandparents and our great-grandparents and our great-grandparents, for sure. But Reb Shlomo says, those of us that are here, God has given us this delay in time to give us the schut to act messianic, kind of, right? To be here and to still dream about being here. Ask, please ask, don't hold back.
Is it dreaming about being here, or is it dreaming about what we could have here? Because I feel like we're dreaming about a future that we want to have here.
Both. I think both. I think both. Absolutely. But you know that if you told your great-grandmother that her great-great-granddaughter would be born in Yerushalayim, in Eretz Israel, and we still wouldn't have Beis HaMikdash, but at least we'd be here, for her, that would be Olam Umlo'o, right? Mm-hmm. But that's not enough for your daughter. And it's not enough for my daughters. It was enough for the dreams of prior generations. It's not enough for our children's dreams. It's not enough. So that's why I say both. I think both. Okay, so now, the last paragraph, you're either going to want to never come back here ever again, honestly, or it might open your heart as a limud zchut, as having a lot of, how do you say limud zchut? And now you're all reading the next paragraph before I could say anything. How do you say limud zchut? Judging people favorably. Okay? Because I never heard of anyone making aliyah because he was judged by someone living in Israel. That he lives in America. Never. And whoever does come because of that doesn't end up staying here. Let's just remember that, okay? Look at the bottom paragraph. I want you to know, friends, the difference between my connection to the Holy Land and a Chinaman to China is like this. China belongs to the Chinaman. That's it. Eretz Yisrael belongs to us only as much as we are dreaming about it. Okay, so far, so beautifully good, right? Mm-hmm. That's a beautiful, wonderful statement. Especially based on everything we learn, which is, and the truth is, you're only really married to someone as much as you're dreaming about being married to them. Your connection to your children is only as deep as you dream about it. Okay, now look at the next line. I have a feeling, on the level of limud zchus, do you know why there are so many who didn't come to Eretz Israel yet? Because if all the Yidden will be in Israel, there might chas v'sholem be no more dreaming about Israel. Very bizarre statement. It's very weird that he said that also, because he said that here in Yerushalayim, and he never spoke like this. I've never, not that I know of, I've never heard him say anything like this before. But what he's saying over here is that on a certain level, those who physically have not made it here, it's easier for them to dream. He's almost saying like this: thank God we still, lehavdil, thank God we still have goyim that dream about becoming Jews, as opposed to Jews that are just born as Jews. I just ruined this whole limud zchut right now, but however, that's just to understand, I think, the balance of what he's saying over here. He's saying on a certain level, all the Yidden in Chutz La'aretz, they're like Rus and they're like Yitro. They're like Yirut and Yitro, because they still holding on a certain level to the dreaming. Like when I travel sometimes, I meet people like you'd never believe the state that what comes out of their mouths. But usually, it's more like when they talk about Yerushalayim, and they've never been here, or they've been here once when they were a little kid, and when they speak about the Holy Land and the Holy Wall, and their excitement and the tears in their eyes and what they dream about. So I know, obviously, the fact that I live here, I'm not going to be as excited about it like they are. And I can't kill myself for not being as excited as they are. That's just my nature. But what could I really push myself to dream about when I look at them? I say, thank you for the reminder, Hashem. What's become old about my excitement about being here? What's become stale? And then I look at what's become stale in my life. And Ariella and Daniela, this is the how-do. This is the how do you work on this? The Hirur Halev, the avoda of Sfirat HaOmer, is that I look into the chambers of my heart and I ask myself every night with a different sphira, what's tonight? Tiferet Shebanetzach. Things that I thought were beautiful forever. What stopped being eternally beautiful in my life? What's become stale? What's become old? And the more that I address those things, I can work on that dreaming aspect, the Rachel Imenu aspect. Because dreams never become old. Dreams are always new. They're old but new. They never become stale. They can be the oldest dreams in the world, but the Chazan Einenu, B'shuv Chalatzion Barachim, when it can still be new. So alavai, those of us that are privileged to be here, we have this awesome zchut. But he said, we're slowly coming home, but we're still giving the zchut to dream about it. Ask yourself, what about being in Israel has become stale? If you have enough guts, ask that question about your marriage. Ask that question about your parenting. Ask that question about your feelings towards your neighbors. Ask that question about you're supposed to ask those questions about every aspect of your life throughout this month of Iyar. And the refuah, Ani Hashem Rofecha, comes when I take Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, those who dreamt of one day having a nation that would come back to Eretz Yisrael, but I slap it on with Rachel Imenu, who's mamish crying v'shavu banim ligvulam, who's by the borders, saying, okay, so before you come back here, she's buried by the border, saying, before you come back here, Rachel Imenu is saying, make sure nothing becomes old this time around. Because if not, you'll have to be schlepped out to Galus again. On a certain weird level, the fact that the redemption hasn't happened yet, all the tzaddikim say, on a really weird level, there's an ounce of rachmanis from God on that level. Why? Chas v'shalom, that the Beis HaMikdash should come down, that redemption should happen, and there'd be even a tad of what's going on in Am Yisrael right now. God forbid. God forbid. God forbid. And it won't happen like that, because when this time around, Hayinu kecholmin. We've been saying it for 2,000 years. And this is the time. And you know what? Pesach Sheni is coming up. This is the time to beg Hashem to re-dream your dreams. Give me second chances to dream those things that I stopped dreaming about. So Be'ezrat Hashem will be privileged to witness the Geula Shlema, the complete and real Geula Shlema, v'hamitit b'mheira b'yameinu amen. Okay, Chaver, thank you so much for coming. And we're continuing next Monday night here and next Sunday night in Yerushalayim.
Very much.
Huh?
It was cute how you framed this class tonight.
Light? I
You were there yesterday.
don't know what compared to yesterday it was light. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, but I'm happy. No, I want you to know. I couldn't, you should know, everyone that's here. I couldn't do this. I couldn't keep the excitement alone. You know, I couldn't keep the dreaming about this stuff just alone. About these Torahs coming out into the world. There's no way I could do this. I could do it alone. So you're part of helping me make sure that dreams that started many years ago don't become stale. So I thank each and every one of you for that. I really do. All right, thank you so much for coming, everyone.